interview.
Yes, thank you everybody. Welcome to Great Interview. Welcome to Great Interview. I am your host, Adam Grace. Yes. Right. Welcome to Great Interview. Okay, no, that's the theme, right? And we only do the theme at the beginning, so you don't have to do it. Just no more, please. Great. Perfect. Thank you again. Welcome to Great Interview. We are going. Okay, it doesn't play every time I say Great Interview. Anyway, thank you, everybody. Welcome to the program. Anyway, I want to apologize to you, Peter. Sorry about that. For those of you who do not know my guest today, this is Peter. I always have a hard time pronouncing your last name, Pfufpkin. And out of all the guests that we had in the past, Peter was probably the most famous of all guests that we've ever had. And that's why our viewers all voted in droves to bring him back on the show. So welcome to the show, Peter.
Yeah, I think that's a great point. I think, something we should, make sure people understand, because it underscores the point you just made, which is that people will listen to this and maybe shrug their shoulders and go back to everyday life, is that I think a lot of people don't understand that two presidents just played out for the entire world to see, something that I think you and I both know for a fact to be true.
That's great. Yeah, I agree. And Peter, I want to circle back to something that you touched on in one of our earlier interviews when we were discussing garage shelves. Exactly, right? Because most people hear garage shelves and they think storage, right? But you hear garage shelves and you ask, what is this man refusing to let go of? And that is such a more mature way to live in this world, for sure. Are you asking me about shelves, or are you asking me about your father? And the answer is, I don't know. I genuinely don't know.
I think it's important to have a conversation with you here about, I know you have pretty considered views about it. What's your current perspective on the different hypotheses and that the data favors, and how you think people should explore them?
That is a very thoughtful question, and I appreciate the seriousness that you're bringing to this today. But let me ask you on a much smaller but no less important scale. When you open your refrigerator and then you reopen it 11 seconds later, like, are you gathering new data, or are you hoping that the findings have changed?
Well, and so it's interesting you put that on the table, because at once what's interesting about which is basically the idea that whatever it's doing, it's a kind of conditioning regime in the behaviorist sense, and that it has a pedagogical or educative function.
When a man
and
says
as you
that
said, it would ultimately attempt to try to train human beings to act or think in a certain way,
or is that
it would
final
give them
fragile
some kind of
raft of
autonomy
a
in making the
person
choice
really
to
holding
learn
himself
or
together?
to learn through error and data. But on the other hand, it's a
Great interview.
Well, it's been a great show. And it's been a great interview. That was the freaking cue, bro. That was the cue. That's when you're supposed to play the song.
Great interview.
Great interview!